Hey, what's up? It's Frank here from Data Driven, the podcast where we explore the emerging fields of data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And a little bit about me. You can catch me on Twitter at FrankDiggsData. And today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One, some really great book deals on Humble Bundle. And secondly, speaking of books, when you pre-order John Lee Dumas's new book, John Lee Dumas is someone who I've actually had on the show, and he's a host of Entrepreneurs on Fire, and he's done a lot of other good things. He's a veteran. I will find the link to the podcast where we had him on the show. But basically, he does this podcast. He's done it for 10 years. A podcast on entrepreneurship and how to get started, and kind of bringing together some really awesome thought leaders. And one of the things that he's done over the years was create a couple of journal products. And one of the perks, if you pre-ordered his book, is you would get another copy of these. So I have some pretty well-worn versions of his stuff. But basically each one is kind of, he preaches this whole thing about niching down till it hurts, and he's kind of done that. So it started with the Freedom Journal, and the Freedom Journal is basically a book where you can, let me see if I find a blank one, so I don't share my innermost thoughts with the entire world, where basically you kind of have this 100-day countdown. Let's see if that'll work. And go through and kind of write, what I want to accomplish in 100 days, and et cetera, et cetera. Every 10 days, there's a sprint. There's also kind of at the half mark and quarter marks and 3/4 marks, a review. And really great stuff. I use this to launch Data Driven. The podcast whose logo appears in the corner there. So, I've used this. One of the things that he came out with a little bit later was something called the Mastery Journal, which is basically, I haven't done this, full disclosure. And basically, it's kind of like, how to master productivity, focus, and discipline in one kind of book, also following the model of 100 days. And I'm actually excited to get this. This one here, it's like how to launch a podcast in 50 days. And this was not available when I launched Data Driven. This is something new. Fun fact, I actually picked up another copy, and I actually have Kate and John signed it, so I was afraid to use it, so it's sitting on my shelf. So I'm glad to have this, and if anyone's interested, maybe I can get this out to you if you want to start a podcast. It comes with a support group on Facebook that's really, really good and useful. And hold on. So I was very excited. I got all three. So obviously I'm still working through my way through the Freedom Journal, second one of the Freedom Journals. But I will just say that I started off 2021 with a very good journaling practice. And the last 2 weeks I kind of fell off of it. And what I use is, hang on, let me go to a blank page. What I've been using as my daily go-to is Grant Cardone's 10X Journal, where you basically write your goals, what your targets for today, what your successes were, and then you end the day with writing goals. Now, I've fallen off this practice, but every day is an opportunity to start it over. So I started over again today. And I know it sounds wonky. I know it sounds like silly. But you know what? If you write down your goals first thing in the morning and last thing at night, something happens. I don't know what it is. You just get more focused, because when you go throughout the day and you are encountering situations that, I don't know, is this going to get me closer. Like, what am I doing this for? Like, what, am I going to work just because to collect a paycheck? What am I doing? Like, it helps you kind of focus that, and it helps you as you get through the day. We live in an era of distractions, and it really helps you kind of think about, yeah, but is that really my goal? I'd like to do that, but does that really match up with my goal? So for that really helps. It helps also to write down your successes, because you tend to forget those little wins, not the big wins, not like you close the account, but maybe you'll forget that you figured out how to make something work, or this demo. Hey, how's it going? Hey, Donnie. That's right. You get motivated. Not only, it's just a great way to start the day rather than looking at social media and whatever drama there is there. And as a data scientist, I know that they have ways to present you content that will keep you scrolling, right? Keep your thumb muscle going. That's basically their business model, and they have some of the best people in the world working on that. So, not saying it's wrong, not saying social media is bad. I'm just saying, if your life, live the life you want, not the life that monetizes your data the most for somebody else. Live the life you want, whatever that means. So it's just kind of cool. Like you can write through that. You get motivated, but motivation is one of those things where motivation is kind of very well, it's a bit fleeting in a sense, because you can be motivated and then that fades. Now, one thing I heard Zig Ziglar say, and that was pretty smart, right? He goes, why do you have to get motivated every day? Well, I bathe every day, right? You don't go to someone, hey, you bathed last week, why are you doing it again today? It's one of those things that has a very short half-life, to put it in scientific terms. So that's one way to put it. And doing it every day, we're at that point in the year where, think back to your New Year's resolutions, right? We're pushing into mid-February now, and I don't know, how are we tracking on the goals? Am I tracking on all my goals? I'm like at 80-90%, and I know from years past, years of data, that by this point in the year, I don't know, a good year would be half on it or 40% on it. So the fact that I kind of review these goals, this is a Grant Cardone thing. If you review your goals twice a day, you kind of bookend your day with what you want for your life, and not what other things will come. Because life is what happens when you're making plans, or whatever that thing is. And there is some truth to that. But you know what? Maybe it's just the way the universe works, and making sure that you're focused on what's important, and you keep your head focused and keep your head in the game. I don't know. Does that make any sense? But I will tell you this, I have another kind of blank journal too, that I kind of write just random thoughts and whatever. And, I don't do that as often as I should, but, I was going back and I was reading like just one stuff that I wrote when my kids were babies. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that little moment. All these little like things that just make up your life that, just get washed over in this wave of just inundation of data. I don't know. I think that's important to capture kind of that, because that's really, I wouldn't say it's the currency of life, but it's definitely kind of a big deal. So let me show you application window. Let's see. We got some interesting stuff on Frank's World today. Couple of interesting things. I'm actually attending, and I have to go back in a few minutes. I'm actually attending a workshop/webinar on, I'm also helping proctor it, but not that much of a help, on Power Apps and Dataverse and all that stuff. And that is going to be the whole low-code, no-code platform, regardless of whether it's Microsoft or somebody else. That's going to be transformative. It's not going to put developers out of work, because developers are busy as it is, right? There's a whole, I think I posted on my Instagram, a Gartner saying that, the need for business apps to be built in the next 5 years is several times of all the apps that have been made in the last 40 years. Low code, no code helps you build out these processes and platforms that normally would take a team of developers, but you can probably get, people who have some coding experience, and not knock out everything. You don't need to knock out everything. There's not going to be ever one platform to rule them all. I think as engineers, we tend to want to solve every edge case. But if you can take the lion's share, just think of the old Pareto principle, right? 80-20. You can focus on applications where the tools aren't there yet or may never get there. I don't know. I think that's interesting. I'm blanking on her name, so apologies if you're watching. We are connected on LinkedIn. She was a Power Platform MVP, but I think Microsoft hired her. April Dunham, that's it. She has an awesome YouTube channel. Can't recommend it enough. But she has this really great talk about Dataverse and handling announcements for your teams and company-wide. Really awesome stuff. Her videos are just always on point. Another interesting thing here is how much does Purview cost? Purview is the new data catalog offering from Azure, but it does a lot more than just data cataloging. It does a whole bunch of stuff, including data lineage, data masking. It's basically kind of an entire data governance and data cataloging platform all in one. And it doesn't just manage Azure data. It manages a lot of things. Highly recommend it. It's come up already in several customer engagements. Now, fortunately, at the MTC, we don't have to talk about pricing, but the pricing thing, Simon here does a great job of walking through that. And then this is pretty cool. How to use a quantum circuit simulator, which is called Quark, and it's basically entirely web-based, and you can go through and practice kind of quantum logic gates and stuff like that. Reminds me of those old Radio Shack things where you put together with the 9-volt battery and like light stuff up or not light stuff up based on a logic flow. That's pretty cool. And this here is an awesome video by Yannick. I think his name is Yannick. I'm probably mispronouncing it. Apologies if I am. But ultimately, it is Yannick Kilcher. He goes through and he explains kind of these white paper research. One of the smartest guys, one of the smartest folks in the field for sure. And he basically talks about this Singularity Net, which is an open, decentralized network where anyone can deploy and consume AI services. It's a pretty interesting look, because I think we've seen kind of I'm not one of those big tech conspiracists, but the internet was supposed to be about the leveling of the playing field. And what we've seen over the last 10, 15 years, well, it's not really evolved that way, unfortunately. So yeah, that's it for me. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, either now if you're watching live. Thank you for watching live, by the way. Or if you're watching later, I always evolve that. I read the comments and reply whenever I can, particularly on LinkedIn and as well as YouTube. But there's just been a lot of good stuff. As you can tell, I'm at 55 posts for February. There's just a lot of good stuff going on in the quantum space, in the Power App space, in just kind of the data space. There's just it's an awesome field and an awesome time to be in there. And Frank's World, I built Frank's World to be a guide to help curate a lot of this content because it can be very well, I'll be quite frank. There's a pun for you. It can be very overwhelming, particularly if you're new to it. So I've kind of broken that out. Andy and I are hammering away at our secret project. Hopefully we'll have more to share about that soon. But with all that being said, I hope you're having a great week. I wasn't able to stream the last couple of days. Maybe it's because I couldn't do the journaling. Who knows? But when I was doing it, live streaming was always a target I did. Hitting 5 posts per day on franksworld.com, always there. So to kind of close the loop and get us back to where we were, journaling, I thought it was hokey. I thought it was all cow excrement. Trying to find a PG way of saying that. I thought it was all hooey. I thought it was all nonsense. But you know what? I tried it with an open mind for like a good 4 weeks, and I saw some changes. I saw some changes in how I approach things. I was much more focused on my goals. I didn't get stressed out as easily. Um, you know, I can kind of feel the difference in this week or so. I haven't been doing it. I kind of feel, yeah, I don't know if you ever had this where you're in the flow, you're just kind of, you're riding down the track or the rails, and then you kind of get a little bit off, and then you get a little bit off. This whole goal review thing helps you kind of stay on course. And I have no more excuses now because The Expanse season 5 is over. I have to wait till season 6. So no more TV binging. Mandalorian is long over. And yeah, so just remember, you only get one life. You should live the life you want, not what others want, or, don't get distracted. And that's very easy to do, particularly as engineers. We love the new shiny. So thank you, Donnie, for commenting live. I don't see any other comments right now, but just want to say thank you for watching. You have a fantastic Thursday, and who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll do a book review. So with that, you have a fantastic day, and I will end the show with some fancy graphics.